Hey YouTube, Victor here with alltimegreats.blog, hoping this video finds you well. If this is your first time viewing this channel, I say to you welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, I say welcome back. Well, today I want to share with you several dilemmas that I had when it came to content creation for my YouTube channel. You see, it started with the state of Indiana, which is where I live, and the COVID-19 pandemic. All year, Indiana had been about 2,000 cases a day, and in November, the amount of people affected by COVID-19 tripled. I had 3 card shows to go to in the month of November. All of those were canceled. My daughter, who had just returned to high school not but a few weeks prior, they stopped classes and she returned home to e-learning. My other daughter, Jasmine, who is in her final year of nursing school, ended up having to take her classes and her clinicals all online. And my wife, well, she was given the assignment to work from home as well. Well, my first dilemma is I typically shoot my videos on the main level of my home. We have a ranch-style home with a basement, but now with everyone working from home, I had very little privacy to do my videos. So when I get home from work, a good portion of my home is being utilized, as it should be. My second dilemma was in daylight savings time. Not only did I use the main level to shoot my videos, but I also utilized the natural sunlight coming in through the windows. Well, I would get home from work, shower, get set up, and by 4:30, 5 o'clock, I found very little sunlight coming through the window, and actually by 5 o'clock, it's completely dark. So I spoke to my wife and we came into agreement that the only logical place for me to do this would be downstairs in the basement. But the problem with that idea is that my basement is unfinished. I'll show you a picture here of what I like to call my card room command center. But the problem that I'm having, which I've explained in previous episodes, is that my wife and I purchased a new home construction in October of 2019. Now, through the purchase agreement, we could not make any modifications to the house for 1 year in order to preserve the 1-year warranty. So October 31st of this year, the warranty is up, and I had made arrangements to begin the construction of the downstairs basement end of February or March of 2021. But here I am in need of my basement right now. So I did what any good collector would do, and I got to work. So I drywalled and painted a couple of walls, dressed up the bookshelves that I already had in place, and this became my new YouTube content creation studio. Perhaps you've seen it in the last couple of videos. This was my backdrop in the last several videos, but now a third dilemma surfaces. I'm not happy with the backdrop. The binder bookshelf decorated with McFarlane figures wasn't really working for me. I wanted to be able to display some cards. I know it's something that's pretty popular in the hobby, and I've had a couple of people already mention it to me. I remember not too long ago being inspired by Bart, the PSA card guy, when he does videos, he's just surrounded by display cases on his walls. I recall not too long ago having a conversation with Dr. James Beckett as he was sharing it with me how important it is to him that when guests come over, he likes to show them his cards, and he has like this massive display of his 1,000 favorite cards that he has on this wall full of slabs. It's just something amazing, but it really challenged me and inspired me to start displaying some cards. Then there's the straw that broke the camel's back. I was watching a video by Big Scott 35, and he was showcasing his upgrades in his man cave, and it just blew me away. It was just so awe-inspiring to me. It was so cool to see that man cave displayed. I'll leave a description to that video and the link down below. But I ended up reaching out to Scott and picking his brain on a couple of things, and it just really motivated me to do something about displaying some cards. So I was just sitting there one night looking at my bookshelves, and I went from this, well, to this. Now I want to get into the details on what I did to make this happen in the event that perhaps you'd like to do something similar. I'm going to show you this really short video and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, real quick, I just want to show you what I've done here. I took a measurement of each cubicle and each cubicle measured 13 inches. And so I went ahead and looked at these boxes that I had here at my house. They are 660 count storage boxes from BCW. Perhaps you guys have seen them, I'm sure. But I had like 40 of these things, and which was perfect because in order to get them all done, I needed 36 of them, and I just had enough. So the first thing I did was paint the boxes. At first I set them up and just left them the original white, but I didn't really like it. So I purchased a can of black paint. Obviously it could be any color you want, but halfway through the project I had to make a second trip because one can wasn't enough. So in order for me to paint these 36 boxes, I needed 2 cans of paint. Once I finished painting, the next step was to start emptying each cubicle. Some stuff like last year's Beckett magazines, I just boxed those up. I took the books that were non-sport related and boxed those up too. I did, however, keep the hobby books, and I repositioned the binders. The bookshelves have 4 rows, and I wanted the bottom 2 rows to be filled with binders and books, and the upper 2 rows to display cards. This next step for me was the hardest. I set up all the cubicles with 3 storage boxes, and this created 3 rows. But once I did that, I struggled with what cards to put in there. At first, I wanted all rookie cards of Hall of Famers displayed. But then I started thinking I also want to display my Clemente Project 2020. And then there were certain players I wanted, like my Clemente vintage collection. I wanted to really display my Michael Jordan, some of my Jordan stuff, because when I came back to the hobby in 2014, I've been a pretty serious Jordan collector. I also wanted to make sure to have multiple sports, not just one sport. And I struggled with putting higher end valued cards in there as well. I guess what I'm saying is I wanted to represent the variety of my PC. It was probably the funnest portion of the project, but the hardest to put together. Well, the last thing that I noticed about it once I had it set up was that each cubicle, it was pretty dark. It was pretty hard to see the cards, especially the very top row. So I purchased these lights from Amazon, and I thought it was a nice touch. Now, I want to show you guys a spreadsheet of all of the material that I used and what it cost me, so that if you'd like to do something similar, you kind of have an idea of how much this would cost you. Okay guys, so as we can see here, I'm looking at about $150 it cost me for this project. Now, the bookshelves, I purchased those from IKEA. I purchased 3 of them from IKEA several years ago. I've had them bookshelves probably every bit of 6 or 7 years now. I believe they were about $100 a piece at IKEA. So factoring that cost, but the 660 count storage boxes, I got those from BCW. I purchased 36, and that was $46.44. A couple of cans of black spray paint, that was $8. These foldable card stands here. Now I tried several card stands, and I even purchased some from Amazon, which I ended up having to return them because I did not like the way the slab cards fit on there. So I had to get those sent back to Amazon, and I went with BCW. These are actually for slab cards. In my opinion, these worked best for my application. I purchased 100 of those, and with the taxes and shipping costs, that cost me $40. They charged me $10 in shipping for something that within the same state as me, but really wanted them, so not an issue. The cabinet lights I got from Amazon. I had to order 2 boxes because I needed 12 and only 9 came per box, and that was the most cost-effective way, but that cost me $55.60 for a grand total of $150.10. Now in my end of year video, I'll be displaying each card in each cubicle. Until then, Happy New Year, and we'll catch you on the next one.